How about a little Thursday night action here on Vidane TV? Some road course racing. Zanie at the Glennie 30 here for the Shift Marketing and Design Grand National Series here at the Watkins Glen Speedway. 30 laps on the docket. We're going caution free. John Peters is on the pole. Showtime Paul Strickland Jr. up here in the booth alongside AA Ron. Aaron Creed back up here for a little bit of NEPs racing action here on a Thursday night. Aaron, been a couple of weeks. How you doing, bud?
Great to be here in Watkins Glen International in upstate New York, and this is going to be a fun one right here, turning left and right tonight.
100% beautiful camera angles brought to you by TrackCams22.com. Jumping in on board and helping us out here on Vidane TV. Going to give these drivers an opportunity to get a little bit comfortable with the track. And this is one of those tracks, Aaron, that have been around in the sim racing world for a very long time throughout iRacing and NASCAR Racing 2003 season. So a lot of these sim racers able to kind of use a little bit of muscle memory to get themselves around this racetrack. And you can see John Peters, no stranger to road racing, 0.3 of a second faster than Kenny Kibbe, who qualified in second. Evan Bellew, Dale Glessner, and Brent Roy, the top five. Ryan Libby, Wyatt Alexander, Steve Daddio, the former points leader, Corey Casagrande, and Zane Farrell going to be rounding out the top 10 here, and you can see the rest of the qualifying order on your screen there. 25 drivers here making their start at Watkins Glen. This is going to be absolutely interesting.
Yeah, and talked about John Peters, very fast in practice and qualifying, and looking at the past road course stats, he's just been flat out dominant. Winning on a couple occasions, I think he's undefeated when it comes to poles now on the road courses. So he's definitely going to be the one to beat here, and is going to be out front right from the get-go. But don't count out someone like Kibbe, who won at, I believe, the Bull Ring at Las Vegas last week. And also Zane Farrell, looking at the stats, he comes in, the race is named after him. He comes in as the point leader, and he's one of them that's been very consistent on the road courses too.
Is Zanie very good in that pretty big race car on these road courses, and especially here at Watkins Glen. And you can see he's got himself a top 10 starting position. Going to be starting that 14th car in that 10th spot, and it's going to be one heck of a race all the way through here. But you can see the iRacing base truck going to make the hard right-hand turn, and we're waiting for the flag, man. Green flag is in the air. We are racing 30 laps on the docket here at Watkins Glen International. John Peters has a little bit of a jump over the Kibbe machine of the number 4, and you can see he's got turn number 1 cleared by about 3, maybe 4 car lengths.
I was going to see if everyone makes it through turn 1. That's, the first goal here for some of these guys is to keep it on the pavement, and especially with green flag conditions in this distance, if you get off course, you're going to be set back quite a bit and have to play catch up.
If you must finish first, you must first finish, and John Peters is a firm believer in that. That's how he got himself 2 back-to-back championships in the New England, Pennsylvania iRacing Group here, brought to you by Shift Marketing and Design, the Grand National Series this season, running the Xfinity cars. And here, the very first race on a road course, little left-hand turns, little right-hand turns, and we're running this race caution-free, 30 laps. It should go by relatively quickly, and you can see John Peters already has over a second lead. 1 second lead, easy enough for me to say, over the Belvedere, Evan Bellew in the 56.
Yeah, and he's holding his own right there in the second spot with some pressure from Kibbe as they head into turn 1, and does seem like everyone's kind of playing it pretty safe right now, kind of settling in, and that's kind of what you have to do at these road racing facilities. It's a lot about momentum and keeping that going, and if you get out of line, they're going to come by you pretty quickly.
So one of the surprises on the season, as of the last race we had here on Veterans Day, November 11th here, just a couple of days ago, John Peters, the reigning and defending 2-time series champion, is currently 13th in points, 34 points back from the lead. comfortable territory for the champ, John Peters in the 09 car. And you can see right now, leading this race, led a couple of laps so far, getting ready to cross the stripe for the third lap led here at the Glen. The Zanie at the Glennie 30 here at Watkins Glen. Very excited to have a little road racing action here, but John Peters has not had the season that he's wanted here. Not quite picking up from where he left off here, Aaron, over the championship caliber race team that he's had over the past couple of seasons.
Yeah, not at all, but this might be the best medicine for him right here, with how smooth he seems to be here at Watkins Glen already. But he's not really pulling too far ahead, though, and not sure, you know, he could be kind of conserving a little bit, for sure, and he is stretching it just a little bit, but still only a little over a second lead.
Interesting points dynamic as we get into it here. You can see the John Peters machine going through that bus stop very, very cleanly. Able to pick up a little bit of time there. Now 1.6 seconds lead over he and the 56 car. But Zane Farrell comes into tonight, sponsored the race, and he's coming in with the points lead. He's got 8 markers over Stephen Daddio and Jason Ricker, who are tied for second. Dale Glessner is 12 points back in the 4th position, and Alston Belkey 14 points back in the 5th spot. And the list goes on, and we've had 29 drivers start at least one race here in the 3rd season of the New England, Pennsylvania iRacing Shift Marketing and Design Grand National Series. And you can see John Peters trying to pick up from where he left off the past 2 seasons. Not quite had the first races that he's wanted to. A little off-track incident there, but gathers it back up. Almost a 2-second lead now over the 56 car.
He's definitely been very smooth. I can see he's running a very smooth line here. And further back, though, seems like some pretty good battles going on. Maybe not side by side like we're used to seeing, but there you see, there's Zane Farrell, the point leader, running in 10th right now, but he's right on Corey Casagrande's tail, and Stephen Daddio in front, Wyatt Alexander. Then here they go. This is always one of the interesting spots, the bus stop right here. Got to get through there smoothly, and it looks like everyone's having a pretty good evening so far without any mishaps.
A little bit of conveyor belt action going on here. Everybody in the field here, 25 cars strong, running nose to tail just about here at Watkins Glen. There you can see Zane Farrell in the 14 car, tonight's presenting sponsor, running in that 10th position in that pretty pink race car. U.S. Racing Designs all over the back bumper and the quarter panel of that race car. We've seen U.S. Racing Designs all over Facebook. They've got a lot of neat things here for the iRacing and the sim racing world. A lot of different button boxes that are very similar to the iRacing or the real racing world. And Aaron, I know you might not be too familiar with the sim racing world, but as far as the real racing goes, you've definitely seen the inside of the race car. Those U.S. Racing Designs button boxes that they've got coming out here with the New England, Pennsylvania iRacing group and over on the Facebook. They're pretty close to the real deal.
Yeah, it's definitely, I haven't, like you said, I haven't had a huge opportunity to kind of get an up-close look, but and Zane gets a little squirrely there, but keeps his position on track. They're getting a little dicey now around mid-pack.
Matt Kenfield finding himself off the pace. There you can see him back in the 24th position, about to be 25th as DJ Gerard closes into the back bumper of that 76 machine. Well, he's going to try to anyway. Still on the lead lap, but a little bit further off the pack. But John Peters, there you can see the lead coming down the front straightaway as he crosses the stripe, heads on down in the turn number 1, the 09 car of John Peters. He's got himself a 3.25 second lead over Evan Bulliard in number 56.
Which should be interesting, though, since we're going without yellows. Kenfield and Gerard are, they're almost a minute behind, and there might be some lap traffic that Peters is going to encounter. It'll be interesting to see as the race goes on to see how he approaches that, if he's able to get through them, get by them pretty smoothly. We got something going on here.
Taking a peek at the 007, Kyle Casagrande back here in the 20th position. He's lost 5 spots. Check that, 6 spots from where he qualified as the 31 of Anthony Aiello gets down and around in the 31 car. You can see the 007 car struggling just a little bit. And this is going to be an interesting dynamic here with no cautions planned for this race. We might see some of these drivers split it into two separate sections here, whether it's 15-lap runs, or they may very well split it into 3-lap sections, 10-lap runs, and it all depends on whether or not they want to gamble down on pit road. And I think the field is pretty much going to do exactly the opposite of whatever John Peters does, because with 5-6 laps in, he's got a 3-second lead over Kenny Kitty in that number 4 car.
Yeah, might see some strategy come along here, and yeah, they're definitely gonna need a pit, and we'll have to see if anyone decides to kind of short pit to find their way, maybe higher up in the order, or maybe even, you know, gambling and going for the lead. You see that, you know, on NASCAR weekends and stuff like that at Watkins Glen. That there's a history of that happening, where someone, you know, stretches out to like a 30-second lead to see if they can stretch the fuel and the tires, and maybe we'll see something like that here across this distance.
100%. Just taking a look now at the top 3. John Peters, Kenny Kibbe, and Evan Bully are in the top 3. Taking a look now at Dale Glessner in that number 10 ride. He is currently running 4th. Brent Roy right in behind him, having a solid top 5 run. Raced himself into the TCM, the second annual running of the TCM 300 this Friday night at Verdane TV. Very excited to have that big event from Tim's Corner Motorsports here, and Brent Roy going to be racing here Friday night, and then some big-time names actually trying to run the last chance qualifier here tonight, as simultaneously we're running this race here with the New England, Pennsylvania iRacing Group, brought to you by Chef Marketing and Design, the Grand National Series here with the Xfinity cars. And it's pretty cool to see. One of the deals with iRacing is you can race multiple different races here throughout the season at different times. And right now there's a lot of different races going on here, and there's a lot of different sales going on as well at iRacing.com. If this is something you want to check out, if you're new to the sim racing world and you might want to drive one of these Xfinity cars here around the racetrack at Watkins Glen, or maybe at Las Vegas, the Bull Ring at Las Vegas. Heck, you could bring this thing out at Stafford Speedway. We've had that here on Verdane TV. Lots of different racing disciplines here on iRacing. 50% off for the first 2 years if you're a new member, and 25% off renewals for 2-year customers on iRacing.com. Little Black Friday shopping discount code, and be sure to let them know that Verdane TV sent you, because, well, they might actually acknowledge that we exist. But speaking of acknowledging that they exist, how about John Peters? He's all the way up front, 3 seconds now over Kenny Kibbe in the 4 car.
Absolutely, and that's another way to get involved with all the opportunities that iRacing offers, is to kind of hone your skills and maybe have something for this John Peters guy over time. And yeah, especially for the Northeast folks, with it getting cold outside and not having many opportunities to go to the racetrack this time of year, this is the perfect kind of thing to pass the time for sure. And good battle for 3rd going on, as it looks like Kibbe's pulled away in 2nd, as he got that spot a little while ago.
And a very interesting dynamic here. We found ourselves with no racing to follow a couple of years ago with the pandemic. Sporting events shut down, racing shut down, and everything really shut down across the board. So enter Verdane TV. We were born here in the iRacing ashes. The Phoenix rose up, and we wanted to entertain the masses. There's a little bit of a wiggle there out of the 56 car, but he's going to hold on to that 3rd position for right now, as Dale Glessner in the 10 tries to close in on the back bumper. But with that pandemic, we grew a big fan base throughout the New England, Pennsylvania iRacing Group, the East Coast Winter League, Tim's Corner Motorsports, and all the other different leagues that we have worked with, RBR, and lots of different leagues, the Liberty Racing Series as well, and lots of racing, whether it's been oval or dirt, road racing. All sorts of entertainment here on Verdane TV, and we aim to continue on through and entertaining the masses here as we take a peek here at the battle for 3rd. About 4 cars that are lined up right behind the 56 here of Evan Bullier, Dale Glessner, Brent Roy, Ryan Libby, all trying to have themselves a second half of the top 5. So
Yeah, Evan's going to have to stay on his toes here because he's got some hungry drivers there, and they've seen him bobble a time or two now. Glessner's probably looking for just an opportunity. There's not a ton of good spots to pass on at a facility like this, so you kind of have to work patience and be consistent yourself in order to have a chance to get a run on the driver you're trying to catch and pass, and make that happen.
Daily quick peek at the live streams here, Facebook chat, YouTube chat. Ryan Ratcliffe tuning in on the YouTube chat, cheering on his buddy in the number 56, Evan Bullier, trying to get him a little bit closer to the front. Currently 7.4 seconds back from the leader, John Peters, and about 4 seconds or so back from that second position. But he's got a little bit of time in behind him as well. He's able to kind of flex his muscle just a little bit on the racetrack, find out where he's going, where he's strong, where he's weak, and he's got about 20 laps or so to the checkered flag to find out where he can benefit on the racetrack.
Still a long way to go. We're only a third into this, so we're going to probably start seeing how the pit strategy is going to work out here very, very soon. Right now, everyone's kind of riding. Peters is stretched out to almost a 4-second lead, and then it's another 4 seconds from Kibbe back to the battle for third. So kind of establishing a few little packs going on here. 7th to 10th are a few seconds back from Libby in 6th. So yeah, it's kind of a little bit of a pack racing going on the road course, and we see a couple drivers have fallen a lap down.
Yeah, as we take a look at John Peters' current leader right now, lots of room in behind him. He's got about 3, almost 4 seconds in behind him. You can see he's going to put the 76 car of Matt Kenfield 1 lap down, leaving 22 cars on the lead lap. And I think now, Aaron, here with 1/3 of the distance done, we might see some of these drivers maybe attempt to come down pit road, maybe split this race into 3, try and take advantage of a little bit faster lap times with the tires. But I think as far as it looks right now, we might see a lot of these drivers come right down at the halfway marker, lap number 15, to come down pit road, 4 tires, Sunoco race fuel, and down and away. Don't want to gamble too much, just want to get to the end of this race and have themselves a good finish.
Feeling as long as Peters stays out, I don't think anyone's really going to risk it and come in and lose even more track position potentially. And but one thing I wanted to point out is Kenfield. He kind of moved over for Peters. That's a good sportsman move, knowing that Peters is coming. And you know, as much as everyone jokes around and everything, when we're between races and everything, everyone's a good sports typically. We see the second place car down pit road.
Second place in another top 5 car, Dale Glessner and the 10 car are going to come down pit road. They're going to split this race into thirds. And one of the cool things about this league, the New England, Pennsylvania iRacing Group, is the fan interaction on Twitter. You're able to see these guys talk a lot of trash, as you can see the 29 car going 1 lap down, especially with the NEPs account. If you're not following NEPs on Twitter, you absolutely need to. It's fun to watch these drivers talk trash all week long about the sim racing world and kind of set the real world on pause as we find ourselves in the sim racing multiverse here. And this is where John Peters is fast. You can see he's got a 10.25 second lead over the 56 of Evan Bullier. Sunday Cruise. He's going to come down with 18 laps to go. He's going to come down pit road.
So I think this really sets the stage that the vast majority are probably going to have to make 2 pit stops here. We're going to see if anyone wants to stretch it, though, and if it works out for them. But it looks like most of the leaders are deciding to come in before we even approach the halfway point.
John Peters down on pit road. Here's Ryan Libby, Devin Marhefka, Austin Belke in the number 24 car. He's going to come down pit road and get himself some service. Evan Bullier right now, the 56 car, is going to inherit the lead temporarily. Brent Roy in second. Stephen Daddio in the 99 car. He's going to hold on to third. Alexander in the 96. Wyatt's having a good run in the 4th position. And Corey Casagrande, how about that? The 7CT car hasn't wrecked yet. here almost halfway through at the Watkins Glen. Running in the top 5, Zane Farrell in 6th, Brandon Hughouse in 7th. The champ John Peters after that pit stop comes out in 8th. Kenny Kibbe and Dale Glessner rounding out the current top 10.
Yeah, and it looked like Kibbe did reel in Peters by about a second with that pit stop. So we'll see how it all straightens itself out here as we continue on. But yeah, Casagrande keeping the car in one piece right now. Of course, a lot of the problems he's had in so far this season have come toward the end of the race, and he's had some solid top 10 runs going, but has had misfortune as it went down to the wire.
Zane Farrell coming down pit road. Brandon Newhouse, Evan Bellew coming down in the 56 car as well. Here comes the 3 car as well. Brandon Newhouse going to get some service on that machine. That's going to send John Peters on up through the running order, so to speak. He's currently in the 5th position. There's 4 drivers that still have to come down and make themselves a pit stop here. And this is where we talked about that pit strategy. Some of these drivers able to split it into potentially 2 stops here at Watkins Glen, but a couple of these drivers may very well try and stretch it out, stretch the distance, so to speak, into one spot. And right now, how about it? Brent Roy in the 26 car, the lone Canadian in the field. That Toyota Camry, the Camry kid in that 26 car, having himself a good run. Currently leading the race.
Yeah, and we'll see what he does this time by. Oh, we got someone smashing the wall there in front of that. Anthony Aiello getting a little off course. But Brent Roy, yeah, if he stays out here, he could possibly make it on one stop. The top 4, I believe, have not made a pit stop yet. So and now Roy comes in, but it's right at halfway.
Right at the halfway marker, so he knows he's got enough fuel and enough tires to make it at least to the end of the race here. No caution laps here on the road courses because, well, they just take too dang long. So we're going to be running green all the way through, already halfway through here. There's John Peters in the 09 car screaming on down the front straightaway. Current leader right now, Steve Daddio in the number 99 car. He came in last week as the points leader, had himself a not so good run and found himself a little bit further on back in the points. 96 car currently holding on to the 2nd position there. How about Wyatt Alexander having himself a good run? He's up 5 spots from where he qualified. The champ John Peters running in 3rd, Kenny Kibbe in 4th, and Dale Glessner currently rounding out the top 5.
Out the top 2, Daddio and Alexander, with their pit strategy, because we talked about them trying to make it on 2 stops. Some of those that pitted right at halfway, and maybe being confident that they can do that again going down the wire. But the one thing we have to think about, even though there's no yellows, if they're pushing it a little harder in the second half of the race, they might use up more tire and fuel potentially. So it remains to be seen how that all works out as we get towards the last couple of laps.
Took a quick peek at the number 16 car of Dylan Kopech down on pit road, as is the number 25 of Jeffrey Brown. They're going to get some service to their machines. And that Dylan Kopech ride looks like he might have been a little bit aggressive with that bottom apron, and he's got a little bit of damage on the front end of that number 16 Toyota Camry. So he's going to come down to the attention of his pit crew, try and get that banged out under green. Steve Daddio, Keith Lord coming down pit road here a second time, and this is going to be interesting here, Aaron, as we've got 14 laps to go and different pit strategies throughout the field here as Zane Farrell gets down and around. Zane Farrell currently running in the 8th position. Brent Roy's going to find himself now in 7th after all those pit stops, but it's still Wyatt Alexander out front. He's got a little bit of a gap. Well, he's got quite a bit of a gap over to champ John Peters in the 09 car. 7.25 seconds from the lead back to 2nd.
Yeah, Peters is closing fast, though, so remains to be seen how that all works out. I think Alexander might come in this next time by. Oh, no, he's staying out again. So, interesting strategy by Wyatt Alexander here. Heath Lord also kind of short pitting a little bit. We got someone spinning and slapping the guardrail. Is that Alexander?
The leader, Wyatt Alexander, finding himself in a little bit of trouble, finds the outside safer barrier, and he is going to slow down to almost a crawl. And John Peters, the champ, smells blood in the water. He has got his crosshairs set on the back bumper of the 96, and I got a feeling here, Aaron, he's going to blow right on by him as soon as they get through the bus stop here. That '09 car, very, very quick, whatever racetrack he goes to, especially here at the Watkins Glen and all these road courses. You can see right on down the bottom side like he was standing still. John Peters to the point. '09 car to the lead.
Yeah, and that's the risk you take if you're the 96 or anyone for that matter that stays out. The longer you stay out, it's going to just slide around more and might come out from under you. So, and we saw that right there. We saw another car into the guardrail as well, further back.
Lots of racing going on throughout the racetrack. There you can see the 22 trying to hold off Corey Casagrande in the number 7 car. How about the 96 car from third place? Going to come down pit lane. He's up 4 spots from where he qualified. He's going to come down, get himself some tires and fuel, and try and figure this thing out, reversing pit roads backwards. John Peters currently holding on to the lead, 2.5 seconds over Kenny Kibbe in the number 4 car. Dale Glessner, Ryan Bullier, and now Ryan Libby in the 5th position. Brent Roy on the outside of the top 5. Looking in, currently in 6th, Zane Farrell, Steve Daddio, Devin Marhefka, Corey Casagrande, the top 10 currently.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see now. Oh, and there we see Peters doesn't have much trouble getting by the lap car of Anthony Aiello, but there you see Kibbe's right there in the picture. So, was Kibbe kind of saving his stuff earlier on, and we're not showing all his stuff, I guess you could say. But we'll have to see. But he's reeling in on Peters just a little bit. He's within 2 seconds now.
And we've seen that 4 car very, very quick throughout the season so far. 4 races in here, a long ways to go to the championship race here coming up in a couple of months. But you can see that 4 car getting down and around the 31 of Anthony Aiello. He's going to pass him in there on the front straightaway and get on down and around 2 seconds now. The distance between Kenny Kibbe and John Peters up in the lead with 11 laps to go, and potentially a couple of drivers utilizing different pit strategies. Some of these drivers trying to split it into 2 pit stops. Some drivers trying to kind of stretch it into 1, and that's going to be a big-time play out here with 11 laps to go here on Badane TV, and it's going to be crazy to see because we don't have any caution laps to kind of reset the field or anything like that. So John Peters, he's looking in the rearview mirror. He sees that 4 car all the way back, and he can see that 3rd position, 14, almost 15 seconds on back. He's almost got this one in the bag, 2/3 of the way done.
Yeah, and if you're John Peters or Kenny Kibbe with that buffer of having over 15 seconds on 3rd, and if you're running some good speeds, that could stretch out even more. And that's where the question will come in. Kibbe was one of the first to pit, and Peters pitted slightly before halfway. Can they stretch it? Will they stretch it if they choose to? Because, you know, if it's still not enough of a buffer, and one of those drivers that's, 3rd through about 6th stays out. I mean, we saw Brent Roy. He's about 20 seconds back right now, but he stayed out for a good bit. Could that whole strategy, once again, we've been talking about it the whole race, but that really could play into something really interesting here.
How about this battle for the 10th position right now? Devin Marhefka holding on to 9th. Corey Casagrande trying to take that position all over the back bumper of the number 22 car. Shout out to the Renner Race Car Group, Gary Spinato Jr., a couple of wins at Stafford Speedway in the Dare Stock division. But you can see the 22 car trying to hold on to 9th. Corey Casagrande trying to get that Wicked Motorsports number 7 CT up to the back bumper, maybe get around him here with 10 laps to go here at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, the Daytona winner, Marhefka, has his hands full right now, or his mirror full, too. Casagrande's just trying to find the right spot here to pounce.
And you can see right on the back bumper, one of the most exciting battles that we've got on the track. You can take a look here as well. The number 56 of Evan Bullier trying to chase down the number 10 of Dale Glessner, get himself a podium finish, round out the Watkins Glen, the road course race here with a third place finish, and he's doing his best to try and get up to that back bumper and try and get up around him. But it's still John Peters up front, Kenny Kibbe in second, Dale Glessner, that number 10 car, running in third.
Yeah, Glessner's having a good. He's had a solid year already. Being in contention for a couple wins, so he's sliding around there a little bit though. The 56 was, running solidly in second and third earlier in the race. He wants to pick up a couple of those positions and get them back, and he's right there with Glessner trying to get that third position.
And you can see a little bit further on back, the Safe Flight Auto Repair number 46 car of Ryan Libby currently rounding out the top 5, and he's got himself a little bit of the racetrack by himself. Brent Roy in behind him, the number 26 car, the Recar Machine, trying to close up in on the back of him. You can catch him on Twitch, the Camry Kid, and he streams a lot of these races on his Twitch channel, so be sure to check him out. And he's joined us up here in the booth a couple of times. How about Steve Daddy on the 99, the Camaro, running in 7th position, came into last week's race as the points leader, didn't quite have the race he was looking for and dropped back just a couple of points in the standings, but having himself a solid top 10 run so far. Zane Farrell back here in 8th, Devin Marhefka, Corey Casagrande currently rounding out the bottom half of the top 10.
Yeah, that battle from about 7th to 11th is pretty close. They're a little bit spread out, but not too far apart. If one of them kind of bobbles or something, the others are gonna find their way by. So will be interesting to see what happens here as we're getting down to the wire now. Only 8 laps to go.
And a couple of these drivers have already kind of shown their hand just a little bit. They're going to have to come down pit road, get themselves 4 tires and enough fuel to make it to the end of the race here, and that's going to kind of shake things up just a little bit. We can see the 13 car of DJ Gerard coming down pit road currently. Multiple laps down in that 13 car, but he's going to come down and get some service to his machine. John Peters, Kenny Kibbe, Dale Glessner, the top 3, Evan Belvedere in the 4th position, and Ryan Libby rounding out the top 5. Looks like Brandon Marhefka, Ryan Salvatore, the 13 and the 12, going to come down pit road. They're going to get some service to their machine with 7 laps to go.
Yep, here comes the pit strategy. Kind of playing its part here. A lot of the mid-pack guys, you don't have much to lose, so why not come in and get some fresh rubber and see where it gets you as the race winds down. We see Wyatt Alexander, who led all those laps. Now he's down in 13th. It's a tough break when you have an issue like that and risk staying out, and now he's outside of the top 10 after running within the top 10 most of the race. But see if he can rebound along with some of these others that are taking pit stops early.
And it's really tough to kind of plan out the race here. 30 laps at the Glen with no cautions. You know that you're going to have to make a green flag pit stop, so you need to make sure the pit crew is amped up and ready to rock and roll, and you're not quite sure what the strategy is going to be as it unfolds. But John Peters doing his absolute best as he crosses the stripe. 6 laps to go. Got himself almost a 2-second lead over Kenny Kibbe in second, and it's about 18 seconds on back to third place of Dale Glessner in the number 10.
But Kibbe's kept it right there. He's been within that 2-second range this whole second half of the race. So he's been very consistent here, and as you can see him, we're riding along with him now. The winner of the last race, the Bull Ring at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Fun little track there. I was actually just there in person right before the NEPs guys came to town. So very fun little racetrack, and I feel bad that I missed that one because they put on a show at that little facility. But they're putting on a show right now here at Watkins Glen. Kibbe's still just maintaining right now within 2 seconds of Peters.
Yeah, and it's always cool to check out the iRacing racetracks after being there in person. I know it was very neat for me to race a bunch of laps in the street stock at Stafford Motor Speedway and jump inside the rent-a-race car street stocks, the number 26. Actually, I was in the 6th car a couple of years ago, and all the laps on iRacing definitely helped me out just a little bit. It was pretty cool to be one of the first iRacers or sim racers to jump in the real race car and not actually spin out on the racetrack, so that's kind of neat. But taking a look right now at Kenny Kibbe in the number 4 car, the onboard machine, you can see just how technical this racetrack is. Coming up the hill here through the S's, doing a little bit of onboard, trying to chase down that champ, the leader, John Peters, Johnny Two Belts, in the '09 machine, but he has checked out 2.25 seconds over second place at Kenny Kibbe. And you can see he's going to come up to the pit stop, or the bump stop, bus stop, whatever the heck it's called, bus stop, get on through it nice and quick. Loses a little bit of time to John Peters, but he's going to gain it right back here in this final long sweeping right, kind of a curved straightaway just a little bit, couple of corners, and then he's going to come out on the front straightaway, and it's a monster front stretch down on to the start finish line. But as we cross the stripe, Johnny Two Belts, John Peters, going to get the high five from the flagman. 5 laps to go here at Watkins Glen for the Zanie at the Glennie 30.
Yeah, and Kibbe, he's working that wheel now, maybe a little bit more than he was before. Possibly trying to turn up the wick here to catch the leader, but like we saw, Kibbe, I think, pitted a little earlier than everyone else, so maybe those tires are potentially going away as he's still keeping a relatively decent distance, though, and you never know what can happen, even where someone that's as dominant as Peters having to navigate some of the slower traffic, you never know what's going to happen, and something can go wrong. And that's why we all enjoy racing of any kind, because even if someone's just stinking up a show, which Peters hasn't really been doing, despite his dominance, you never know what's going to happen until that checkered flag flies.
100%. We've seen many mistakes happen on road courses here on Verdane TV. We've seen many of the leaders make mistakes here in the final laps in the New England, Pennsylvania iRacing Group Shift Marketing and Design Grand National Series. This being the 3rd season, and there you're taking a peek right now at the reigning and defending 2-time champ, the '09 of John Peters, leading all the laps, leading a bunch of laps here so far. He's going to cross the stripe. 3 laps to go for the '09 car. He's got almost a 3-second lead now over Kenny Kibbe, his strongest competitor, but on back further than that. It's going to be a battle for 3rd, but that's about 20.5 seconds back.
Yeah, we see there's quite a few cars, though, in that battle for 3rd. Here, we might have a pass here going into turn 1. No, not quite, but coming out of here, we could see something going on, and here we go. Looks like it gets narrow, though. It narrows up here at Watkins Glen between those guardrails, though.
Coming up the hill through the S's there, the 56 trying to close in on the number 10 of Jeffrey Brown and try and get himself a little bit better position here. Check that. That's going to be Dale Glessner in the number 10 car, trying to hold on to that podium finish. He wants to talk to us up here in the Verdane TV booth, but Evan Bullier wants to make the magic happen in the 56 car. You can see he's going to dive on down low, try and cut the racetrack in portions. He's going to take that bottom side, the preferred groove, but as they come into the final couple of stretches here, it bounces back and forth between inside and outside. We'll see who's going to come out on top here on the front straightaway with popsicle sticks in the air. 2 laps to go here at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, phenomenal battle here for 3rd, and while we see that, now Libby's right there in the battle, running in 5th spot in the 46. He could have a say in this for a potential podium position as well.
So up front still John Peters by a mile. He's got about 3.25 seconds over Kenny Kibbe in the number 4 car. We're taking a peek right now at the battle for 3rd. Dale Glessner, Evan Bullier, Ryan Libby in the 46 car. Libby going to go all the way down on the bottom side. A little 3-wide action at Watkins Glen. How about that? How about them apples? The 46 going to get around the number 10 car of Glessner. He's going to set his sights now on Evan Bullier in that 56 car with 2 laps to go, a lap and a half to go. All over the back bumper coming up on the bump stop here, or the bus stop here. This is going to get interesting.
Yeah, Glessner might not be done yet either because got a little crossed up there as they went 3 wide. Can't do that very often at a facility like this. The course marshals usually don't like that kind of thing. And now this has become a 4-car battle for 3rd. as Brent Roy's right there.
Brent Roy, the lone Canadian in the field, wants to try and get himself a podium finish here. Kind of rub it in the face of Tim's Corner Motorsports. Say, yeah, I made the TCM 300 this Friday, and I want to make the podium finish. I want to make the post-race show here on Verdane TV and the New England, Pennsylvania iRacing Group Shift Marketing and Design Grand National. Zanie does the Glennie 30 here at Watkins Glen. We really need to talk to the race officials about just how long those race names are. But how about it? White flag, a white rag for the champ, the reigning and defending two-time champ, the 09 car of John Peters. He's got himself a 3 1/3 second lead now over Kenny Kibbe. He just needs to get around this racetrack one more time to try and hold on to the lead, get himself a win, and finally have himself a good points run here 4 or 5 races into the New England, Pennsylvania iRacing Shift Marketing and Design Grand National Series season number 3. We've been watching John Peters struggle all season long, but it looks like he's going to finally have himself a good run.
Yeah, it looks that way. It's pretty much all but over as John Peters comes across the start-finish line for his first win of 2020, the 2021-2022 season. So it took a few races, but finally gets the job done here, and I'm sure he's pretty excited about that. You never know. Once you get that first win, we talk about first career win, but also in their first win in the season, might be able to rattle off a bunch, and we got a great battle for third still. To the line.
To the line, it's going to be the 56 of Evan Bollier going to come across nope, it might actually, nope, it's going to be the 56 car. Ron Libby finishing third, and Brent Roy rounding out the top 10, and we'll get that finishing order here momentarily as soon as all these drivers collect themselves a finishing position. But how about it, the champ, reigning and defending two-time champ, the 09 car of John Peters, going to come home in victory lane. You can bet that he is excited. We're going to talk to him. We're going to talk to Kenny Kibbe, and we're going to talk to Evan Bollier in the 56 car coming up here in the post-race show. And man, oh man, I can bet you that 09 camp, they are excited.
For sure. That's once you get that, when you've had some bad breaks and you break through with that win once again, there's no better feeling.
100%. We're going to get on down there with the reigning, the defending, the two-time champ, the champ, John Peters, finally getting himself a victory here in season number 3, burning him down on the front straightaway. John Peters, how does it feel to come back down here to victory lane?
Finally, I've missed you guys. It's nice to be back in here after a good race that ended well for us. I'm super pumped to finally get a win this season. It's been a tough road so far here in these first few races, but finally got the monkey off the back, and it's nice to talk to you again.
100%. Picking them up, putting them down, and it's almost like you left off last season, and you can pretty much put the 4 seasons or the 4 races this season back behind us here, because we've back in winning ways in the John Peters camp. And man, we've got everybody calling you champ, Johnny 2 Belts, all sorts of nicknames. Larry Mack pops his head in every now and again, which is pretty cool. But finally down here in victory lane, and we got a lot of cool stuff going on in the sim racing world and the real racing world. Want to take a couple of minutes here, John. Talk to us what's going on. We've got the GNG Foundation getting set up here for the next couple of racing seasons, and voting is getting away for that, and lots of stuff going on in the John Peters camp, both sim racing and real racing. Talk to us. What's going on?
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate the opportunity. You can see we got a new number on board for this season, and then G&G's gift on the quarter panels. So that's both in honor of my dad, who we lost earlier this year. 09 was his number and my number growing up, and I switched my real life number to 09 this year as well and in the future. And then we also established a G&G's gift in his honor, which is a real-life racing sponsorship for young up-and-coming racers in New England, and we're fielding applications for that right now. We're going to actually give away $5,000.09 here just in a couple months. So applications are open. They're open for 2 more weeks through the end of November, and then we'll announce our first winner in January. So super excited about that and glad to represent this on the quarter panels as well, just to bring some awareness to it. Appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity.
100%. And if you're out there listening in the fan world and you're wondering what the heck is he talking about, go on Facebook, go on Twitter, go on Instagram, search for the hashtag Racing for GNG, and just find out what a phenomenal man that your father was. For as far as the racing world goes, and as far as the world itself goes, very unfortunate we lost him, but memory going to live on in that sponsorship deal that you guys have set up. And it's crazy because I've got goosebumps just talking about it. One of the first guys that bought a Vidane TV hat from the merchandise store said he was a big fan, and I told him, "Hey man, we'll send you a hat. There's no need for any of that." But very, very cool deal that you guys have worked out. Solid run here at Watkins Glen. Led almost all the laps, if not all the laps. Got to give you an opportunity to thank the rest of the sponsors, the teammates, the friends, the family, everybody else that's tuning in, who makes it happen for this virtual 09 car.
Yeah, thanks to you guys, Paul and Aaron here at Vidane. Missed Tim tonight. Appreciate you guys streaming these races so that people can watch, including my mom. Shout out to her. Appreciate her watching. I'm gonna miss that post-race FaceTime call from my dad, though. He always had some advice one way or the other. Thanks to all of our partners in real life, of course. GNG's Gift, Libby Septic Service, Tigbee's Variety, Four Seasons Synthetic, Turn 4 Automotive and Performance. Speaking of automotive, shout out to 229 Autosport. We got a couple cars in the top 3 tonight, Evan and myself, so that's a lot of fun. Looking forward to the rest of the season to see if we can keep this momentum up and finally get some more wins down here.
Back to his winning ways, the reigning, the defending, the two-time champ, Johnny Two Belts, John Peters, back in victory lane here at the Watkins Glen. This is a danger to everybody else in the field. When John Peters starts to win, he doesn't stop. Good points night tonight. Congratulations on the victory, John. Go celebrate.
Thanks, boys.
And we're going to kick it on down the road just a little bit. I believe, Aaron, you've caught up with our second place finisher. Going to be Kenny Kibbe in that number 4 car, finishing second.
I believe so. Runner-up tonight at Watkins Glen, Kenny Kibbe, the winner last time out at the Bull Ring of Las Vegas. You're stringing along some really good runs here as we get to the meaty part of the middle part of the racing season. Talk about your night.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty uneventful, really. Just didn't have the greatest start initially and got shuffled back to third there, but we just settled in and kind of just raced the track all night long and tried to not make mistakes. And, Evan made a mistake, got around him, and then tried to do an undercut on John there and pit as early as I could have. I probably could have pitted maybe 1 lap earlier, but I didn't want to run out of gas. And so tried to do the undercut, and he countered me, pitting the lap after, and just tried our best to get through lap traffic. They made it a little bit interesting for both of us up in front, but just a solid night and came home P2.
Yeah, we saw that with the early pit stop, and once everything's kind of shuffled back after that whole round of pit stops, you were there right there within a couple seconds of John, and keeping it pretty consistent there. The final margin ended up being 3.5 seconds. How's the car feeling as it kind of wound down? Were you fighting it those last couple of laps?
I was starting to struggle with rear end grip, especially like through the carousel. I kind of struggled there, but mainly John and I were losing and gaining and losing time to each other by mainly by the lap traffic, and nothing they were doing wrong. It's just catching guys at the wrong time. So I'd gain a little from some of that, and he'd pull away a little bit, and then there at the end, I caught a lap car on the last lap and didn't want to do anything stupid, so I just laid back a little bit and lost a little time on the last lap. But we were fighting a little bit of rear end grip at the end. And you just really had to not push corner entry too bad, or else you were going to push and chatter the front tires. So we tried to stay conservative when it came to braking unless I had to push it, and manage the throttle. But cars didn't feel too terrible tonight.
Definitely part of the game with these road races, and also the caution-free types of races. So with coming off a first and second, you should be pretty far up there in the points. Looking ahead, what are you looking forward to here coming up?
Yeah, I mean, well, finally we've started to string together some good runs. I mean, we've had good pace every single week. We just haven't been able to always finish it off. But now we're starting to gain some momentum, and it's looking like we're somewhere around fourth in points now. So it's definitely anybody's game. There's some really fast guys up in front in points right now, but yeah, the momentum's on our side right now, and I'm not exactly sure where we're heading to next. Looks like Myrtle Beach, so that's a track that I like, but we'll see. Just got to keep knocking down these solid runs.
For sure. And anyone that you'd like to personally thank for your second place run?
Yeah, just everybody at the NEP group for putting this league on, Corey and Zane. Zane for sponsoring tonight's race, Shift Marketing and Design for all that they do. And the NEP bets, shout out to them because I think I did pretty well in NEP bets again this week. I'm hoping I won a little more money.
That's your second place finisher, Kenny Kibbe. Back to you, Paul.
And going to slide on down a little bit further down on pit road, see if we can't potentially catch up with our third place finisher, and that's going to be Mr. Evan Belvedere coming home in third place, the number 56 driver. A little bit further on back from the rest of the field, but the record book's going to show a third place finish for Evan in that number 56 car. Evan, talk to us, man. Great race.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, there we go. Yeah, my cat just stepped on my computer cord and everything just shut down. Now I'm on my phone.
One of the glorious things about the iRacing world, anything can happen in the
That's right.
world. So, Evan, great run here tonight. You came home with a third place finish, a good points night as well. And we're only 5 races in, but is it too early to start talking about points racing?
Not at all. I mean, we've had a rough start to the season. Just haven't really adapted to this car quite as well as we were with the ARCA car, and had some bad luck along the way. But yeah, you got to be thinking about it if you're running all these races, which we are, and you definitely want to put yourself in a good position for the final half of the season. But yeah, good points night for us. Congrats to my teammate 229 Autosport.
Looks like we might have lost connection with Belvedere. We'll see if we can get connection one more time. Some Autosports team names and some other thank yous we were getting into. Evan, you still got us? That's one of the fun things here with live TV. Every once in a while, you come across a hiccup, and unfortunately for 56. Oh, wait, what? We got him? Here we go. Live TV.
My gosh.
Here we go. Let's send it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. The
No
computer
worries.
just turned back on. Now it's back on my mic. And good thing this didn't happen halfway through that race, right?
100%.
That'd been fun.
Just getting through, thanking everybody, friends, family, sponsors, teammates, everybody that makes it happen for the number 56 car. Solid points night for the 56 team and the virtual Bullier team. Who makes it happen for you?
We got to thank our real life sponsors: Hancock Lumber, Sunday Morning Farm, Restorations Home Remodeling, LB Cleaning Co., Nitro Designs, everybody that's on the 56 car, Hams Oil, Four Seasons Synthetic. We got some great partners. I'm really looking forward to next season, but this is a great way to spend the off season with you guys, and appreciate everything you guys do and broadcasting these races. I think some nights I get more publicity.
Yeah, we have ourselves a little bit of a cult following here with the Verdane TV crowd, especially when NEPs is in town in New England, Pennsylvania. iRacing Group bringing in the Shift Marketing and Design Grand National Series, the longest series name that we've got here on Verdane TV. Holy cow, I almost made it through without taking a breath. But a great run here, Evan. Solid top 3 finish. Good points night here tonight. Came in 7th in points. Going to creep up just a little bit closer to the points leader as he was coming in, Zane Farrell in the 14 car. But he finished back in about 8th position or so. So it's going to be interesting to see what the points look like after the Watkins Glen here tonight. But a great run. Solid top 3. Congratulations.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, hosts. We'll see you guys.
100%. And, we can't let this race go. We can't let this show go without interviewing tonight's sponsor, that pretty pink race car. Zane Farrell, the number 14 car, finished 8th here tonight. Came in as the points leader. Not quite the run he was looking for, but a solid top 10 finish. Zane, how'd the race go for you?
Oh, it wasn't too bad. I mean, just kind of rode around. I thought the setup wasn't the greatest, so I didn't decide to push anything. I wasn't going to be good, so just kind of rode around, undercut some guys. Happy day, good day.
Oh, yeah, and a good points night as well, coming in as the points leader. A couple of points over the tie for second place there. And it is only 5 races in. Are you keeping track of the points, or are you just kind of going out here week to week looking for a little bit of a points battle?
Nah, we're going out there just to run and have fun. I really don't care about points until like halfway through the year. Anything can happen, though. You just got to take one race at a time.
100%. We'll give you a quick opportunity here, Zane, to thank anybody out there, friends, family, girlfriends, fiancés, teammates, anybody out there, sponsors, might be potentially watching here live on Verdane TV. The floor is all yours.
I thank my mom and dad, my fiance, all my sponsors, fans, everything.
Control copy, control
man of
we'll
little
see
words.
You next week.
See ya.
See you next week. Zane Farrell, the 14 car, already on his way to the next track down in South Carolina, a little Myrtle Beach action. But Aaron, another New England, Pennsylvania iRacing group in the books. I know you're new to the iRacing family here, the iRacing community. I believe this potentially might be your first road racing action here on Verdane TV. What did you think, man?
Yeah, I remember watching one of them during the pandemic, but this is the first time being a part of it, and I really love the strategy aspect. I love strategy races, so I really liked how that played out. Even though, and I was impressed also with, with my experience on any kind of simulation or game or anything on road courses, it's a mess. So everyone pretty much, for the most part, keeping it, within the walls and then not hitting them and not getting in the gravel trap. We didn't see too many mishaps tonight.
Yeah, relatively clean race for 30 laps here at the Watkins Glen in upstate New York. And John Peters, the reigning, the defending, the 2-time champ John Peters, finally coming home with a victory. It took him 5 races to find victory lane, but here he is. And this is a danger to the rest of the field, because once John Peters gets rolling, he may not stop until that championship race. But a phenomenal run here at Watkins Glen. Going to do it here for us tonight. Tomorrow night, Friday night here this week, we're going to be running the 2nd annual Tim's Corner Motorsports 300 at the Bull Ring in Las Vegas. Going to be 300 laps. You need to tune into that one tomorrow night. Mike James from up on the Rock Eastbound Sports, and Dylan Langile coming on in as well for commentary on that one. Going to be a big race, going to be a big show. We had qualifying Monday and Tuesday night, and tonight we actually had the last chance qualifier here for the race. Didn't debut it live here because we had a little bit of NEPs action going on here at the Glen, but going to be running some TCM 300 action tomorrow night, and that's going to be very, very exciting. Atlantic Canada's and New England's top drivers battling it out in the super late model. Sunday night, we might have a little bit of East Coast Winter League action, some Tour Modified action racing as Dylan Kopech and company jumping on in, and they're going to be kicking it off Sunday night, for the very first time officially for this season, and they're going to be taking us on through the winter months. Monday night, November 22nd, Brian Macklin's going to be bringing us a special event race. Going to be able to tune into that live here on Verdane TV, and lots of cool stuff coming up on here. Next Wednesday night, we got a little bit of doubleheader action going on. Tim's Corner Motorsports bringing us Tim's Corner Live, episode number 39, and right after that, Loose Lugs Cup Series is going to be rounding out their round of 16 for their playoff championship race. But the next time we see the New England, Pennsylvania iRacing group taking a quick peek at the schedule, looks like it's going to be December 9th for the Glessner Racing 75 from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and that is going to be an absolute barn burner. Got some holidays coming up, Thanksgiving. Before we get there, well, we'll see you guys at the racetrack before Christmas. So, at the very least, happy Thanksgiving. Be sure to tune in to the Vidane TV Facebook page. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, give us a follow, and check out all of the races here on demand on the YouTube page. Do a quick search for Vidane TV. We'll pop right up, and you'll definitely be entertained, at least for a little while. But from Vidane TV for the New England, Pennsylvania Shift Marketing and Design Grand National Series Showtime, Paul Strickland Jr. up here in the booth with Aaron, Aaron Creed. We'll see you next time. We'll catch you live, and when we do, we're going to be doing it live.